Wout Fades is Liverpool's top scorer since the World Cup. That can't be right. He's only scored 2. Pep is falling out with De Bruyne. No way he gets benched in a must-win game like this. Era's come to an end, says Jim White. This season has been unbelievable. Unbelievable, hasn't it? It really has been unbelievable. I think that the reality is that it's so weird how Liverpool and Man City... I mean, look, Liverpool are struggling to a different level. I think we'd all accept that. But it's crazy. Man City are not Man City, and Liverpool are not Liverpool. Now, Liverpool's season is going a lot worse than Manchester City's, but I think that... And I'm going to stick my neck out here, and I don't think anyone's going to say this controversially. This is controversial. This season... Man City, if you told Man City and Pep Guardiola that Liverpool were going to be mid-table in February, you'd expect to have the league wrapped up in February. You would not expect to be where they are. Now, that's no disrespect to Arsenal, because Arsenal have only lost 2 games this season and drawn 2 games. That is championship form, and that is something that Man City wouldn't expect. But Man City, with Liverpool out of the game, and the experience they've got, Man City should be running away with this league title, and they're not. Obviously, that's because of Arsenal, but it's also because of themselves. They're not Man City. There is internal issues. We know that. There is the Cancelo thing. De Bruyne doesn't look right. They just don't seem as free-flowing as they did. The mentality seems to have dropped. Something's changed. Erling Haaland is fantastic, but as I said, the Erling Haaland success story is a personal success story. He's going to win the Golden Boot. He may well win Player of the Year, but Man City may well not win the league. And ultimately, it's a team game. It's not an individual game. You know, in 2 or 3 years, Haaland will have loads and loads of goals, and he'll probably go to Real Madrid anyway. How many titles will Man City have in that time? How many titles would they have if they'd kept Jesus and not bought Haaland? I actually think if Jesus was still at Man City and Haaland was still at Dortmund, Man City would be at the top of the league. I really do. Well, for one reason, Jesus wouldn't be at Arsenal. But for another reason, I just think they know the way they're playing. So, look, the Haaland experiment is working for Haaland, but is it working for Manchester City? So, Man City are... We saw this at Old Trafford with Manchester United. We dealt with Man City perfectly. Haaland never got a touch. He never got a touch, and City were left trying to do things from out wide. And is that not what City have had to do today? Haaland's not really had a touch. So, Brian Woolner and Jimmy Hill, Sunday Supplement legends. Oh, yeah, the Brian Woolner era was the one for me, Pete. Managed against Ollie's boys, 16. Guess it's his level now, says Christian. And extremely hard to win 3 league titles in a row. Not everyone can do that, says Ramsino. Well, I'd love Arsenal to win the league just to stop Man City winning 3 in a row, because United are the only team to do it in Premier League history. But look, I think that transition is probably the polite word for Manchester City at the moment. They are definitely going through a transition. I don't care what anybody says. They've got to adjust to Erling Haaland. But what I will say is that for a team like Man City to go from being totally, it's totally Pep Guardiola's vision the last few years. Play Sterling as the 9. I might play Jesus as the 9. I might play Bernardo Silva as the 10. The interchangeability of that City side over the last few years has been very unpredictable, hasn't it? You just never know. And it's always Pep, the mastermind. I'm the mastermind. I'm not predictable. I can do anything with my front 6. To this, it's a bit like Spurs. Harry Kane's going to play every minute of every game he's available. And Erling Haaland is going to play every minute of every game he's available. That's not City under Pep. Pep's never been like that. It's always been about interchanging and, I'm in control. And I think Haaland has made them a little bit too predictable. Some teams can't deal with it because Erling Haaland can score a hat-trick like that. But those teams who figure out a way to deal with it, it becomes a problem because he can't take Erling Haaland off. So if you can shut Erling Haaland down, you tend to shut City down. And that's what's happened in the first half there. It's what happened at Old Trafford the other week. What I will say is, though, maybe Pep's not figured it out yet. And if they do figure it out, you know. Have you changed your mind about the red card after sleeping on it, Goldbridge, says Dean? No, I'm resolute on this. I'm resolute. Owen, thank you very much. Welcome to the Members Club. No, I'm absolutely not having that. That's a red card. There's so many different angles that make it look very different than one angle. And one camera angle is very dangerous. You know, I used to work in the police years ago. You get CCTV from stuff, and then you get CCTV from somewhere else, and it looks very different. So, you know what? That's always dangerous from VAR's point of view. But no, I think the most, without going about whether it is a red or not, I can't be bothered with that conversation because that's not been my argument. My argument is that VAR, that incident happened between Schlupp and Anthony, didn't it? And they both got booked. That should have been the end of it. Why is the VAR guy going looking? At what point does the VAR guy go, I'm going to go and have a look for something else now. Oh, look at what Casemiro's done. And then when he does that, why does he not look at what everyone else has done? Because he hasn't got time. So that's where VAR doesn't work for me. What started the incident? Schlupp and Anthony, they get booked. Get on with the game. You can't spend more than a minute on something like that. What started it? Okay, it was that. Book them. Oh, I've found something else now. We're delaying the game. And if I was Andre Mariner, I'd say, have you checked everything else? And he'd go, no. And I'd go, well, I'm not sending him off then, because you're getting me to look at stuff, and there could be other stuff going on. We can't just victimise and target Casemiro. And lo and behold, Ayew grabs Fred like that with an angry face and shoves him off, which is worse. So VAR should not be used for that. But it has been. How can Spurs be up for City but so bad versus Arsenal, says AI Ben. And Chelsea fan here, I like what I saw from his last game, hoping for Europa at least, says the